Okay, sir.
Yeah, okay. Okay, then today we'll go with connective tissue. Connective tissue. Connective tissue. We'll end the chart yesterday. Connective tissue proper, supporting tissue, and fluid connective tissue. Connective tissue proper, supporting tissue, and fluid connective tissue. We did yesterday. Here in the connective tissue proper, we classified the connective tissue proper into loose connective tissue and dense connective tissue. Loose connective tissue and dense connective tissue. In loose connective tissue, we need to go with areolar connective tissue. Here today our topic is areolar connective tissue. So just follow the chart that every time when we are moving with the connective tissue, where we are, we need to know. So we are here now, areolar connective tissue. Areolar connective tissue is a part of loose connective tissue, and loose connective tissue belongs to connective tissue proper. I do remind you once again, connective tissue classified into connective tissue proper, supporting tissue, and fluid connective tissue. In that loose connective tissue proper include loose connective tissue, dense connective tissue. Then in loose connective tissue, we need to go with areolar connective tissue. Areolar connective tissue. Here we made some chart yesterday. Areolar connective tissue is with fibers and cells. Areolar connective tissue is with fibers and cells. The fibers of areolar connective tissue. The fibers include, there are three types of fibers you'll find there: collagen, elastin, and reticular fibers. The fibers of areolar tissue are of three types. Let us see the collagen, elastin, and reticular fibers. Wait a minute. Yeah, let's start with areolar connective tissue as the main heading. So you need to remember areolar connective tissue is a loose connective tissue which belongs to the connective tissue proper. Okay, let's start areolar connective tissue. We said about the fibers and cells, and let me go for fibers first of all. There are three types of fibers. Number one, collagen fibers. So be careful here. These fibers, collagen, elastin fibers, will come along with the connective tissue chapter, and also we'll find some participation in muscular tissue also. So we need to know the properties of these particular fibers, either collagen or elastin fiber. Collagen fibers, they are made up of a protein called collagen. Collagen fibers are made up of a protein called collagen. Okay, so what is their nature? They are strong and they are stretch resistant. That means in the place wherever they are present, we can say they are stretch resistant. That means they can tolerate the force. Can tolerate the force can be called as stretch resistant. Okay, so they are strong, they are stretch resistant, and they are made up of collagen, a protein called collagen, and their color is white. Means wherever they are present, that area will be seen in with white color. Okay, this is the property of collagen fibers. Collagen fibers made up of a protein called collagen. They are strong, they are stretch resistant, they are white in color, and collagen fibers, how they get arranged? They arranged in the form of bundles. Wherever the collagen fibers are present, they are arranged in the form of bundles. So these are the collagen bundles. I'm drawing collagen bundles. Okay, so these are the properties. This is the complete picture of the collagen fiber. So need to remember, because in the coming days, they are going to play a vital role. So number one, I did with collagen fibers. Okay, so collagen fibers. Collagen fibers are protein fibers that are made up of a protein called collagen. They are strong and stretch resistant. They are white in color and they are arranged in the form of bundles. Next, the second one. Second one is elastin fibers. Elastin fibers made of a protein called elastin. Elastin fibers made of a protein called elastin. Elastin fibers are made of a protein said to be elastin. Okay, and the nature-wise, elastin fibers that they are branched. Elastin fibers. Let's remove this. They are less stretch resistant. They are less stretch resistant. And we said collagen fibers are strong, isn't it? But these are not that much strong. They are less stretch resistant and they are elastic in nature. Elastin fiber, by the name, we can understand they are elastic in nature. Color, yellow in color. Elastin fibers are yellow in color. Arrangement, they are branched. So branched arrangement we can see. So these two fibers will have reticular fibers also, but these two fibers are going to play a vital role. So that be careful about these two fibers. Collagen fibers, we said they are white in color. They are arranged in the form of bundles. Collagen fibers are arranged in the form of bundles. And elastin fibers are arranged in the form of branch. Collagen fibers are stretch resistant. Elastin fibers are less stretch resistant. Then collagen fibers are white in color. Elastin fibers are yellow in color. And collagen fibers are strong. Just they are like pen. And elastin fibers can be compared with the rubber band. They are elastic in nature, then less stretch resistant. We can say they are less stretch resistant. Okay. So then we need to see the reticular fibers also. Just wash the elastin fibers one. So that's it. Let's move with the third type of fibers, reticular fibers.
Reticular fibers.
Reticular fibers. Yes, reticulum. Do remember this, the word reticulum. Wherever we go, reticulum means network. We already used once in locomotion reproduction chapter, isn't it? Reticulopodia, net-like pseudopodia. We are going to use the same in cell biology. Endoplasmic reticulum, wherever it comes, network. So they are made up of a protein called collagen again. The same protein, collagen. That reticular fibers are made up of collagen itself. That means we can say they are white in color. That the protein collagen we can say, and that means white in color. And arrangement of the reticular fibers. But compared with the collagen fibers, they are thin. So that's why we'll say they are thin collagen fibers. Reticular fibers are said to be thin collagen fibers. Okay, arrangement. Arrangement, what do you say? Network-like. Reticulum itself, the meaning is network. Okay, so reticular fibers are thin and form a network. They provide strength and support to the certain tissues, such as bone marrow. The reticular fibers are going to provide strength and support to certain tissues like bone marrow. When we go to the bone marrow, we'll remind you once again, I remind you, strength and support to the tissues like bone marrow. Okay, so that's it. This is about the three types of fibers. Three types of fibers. Let me say from the beginning that we said collagen, reticular, and elastic fibers. There are three types of fibers in the areolar connective tissue. The collagen and reticular fibers are composed of the protein called collagen, and elastic fibers are made of the protein called elastin. Collagen fibers are white in color. Collagen fibers arranged in the form of bundles, and collagen fibers are strong and stretch resistant. Coming to the reticular fibers, they are thin and they form a network and they provide strength and support to the certain tissues like bone marrow. Elastic fibers. Elastic fibers are yellow in color. They are branched. They are branched fibers. We'll find them in some other tissues, not only in areolar connective tissue. We can also see them in elastic cartilages and elastic ligaments. When topic is moving on, that you'll find over the presence of collagen and elastin fibers in the different places, in the different connective tissues. But at present, we are learning all these fibers as a part of areolar connective tissue. So nature need to be remembered. White color fiber, that means collagen. Yellow color fiber, that means elastin fiber. Network-like fiber, reticular fiber. In that way, you need to remember. If I ask you in future that an organ which need more support, an organ which to need to tolerate the stretch, external force. So what type of fibers we need to arrange in them?
Collagen.
Collagen. Very good. Very good. If we see our ear, external ear pinna, talking about the ear. So you see here, when I stretch, when I make the resilience, we used to say here, this process here, when I bend this, it will come to their original position. So what type of fibers are expecting there? Collagen or elastin?
Elastic.
Elastic.
Elastic. That's it. That's what we say. That our ear pinna is made up of elastic cartilage. That means it contains elastin fibers more. So that means not only in areolar connective tissue, in some other places also we'll find these fibers. That will locate that particular fibers in future time also. But by making opportunity as areolar connective tissue, we'll learn all the fibers of areolar connective tissue. Now, we'll go with the cells of areolar connective tissue. Cells of areolar connective tissue. Yes, moving with the cells here. The cells, one after another, will go with the cells here. That number one, fibroblast cells. Fibroblast cells. Fibroblast. So, by the name, we can remind this. Fibroblast cells. These are the cells which are responsible for the formation of three types of fiber. Whatever the fibers we said till the time, the three types of fibers, collagen, elastin, and reticulum. All the three types of fibers are formed from these fibroblast cells only. These are the most common cells which are going to secrete the fibers. Our said three fibers, collagen, elastin, and reticular fibers are secreted from the fibroblast cells only. Okay, so the inactive and active forms. Active form, we say fibroblast. When the cells become inactive, we need to say it as fibrocyte. That means if the cell is in inactive form, we term that particular cell as fibrocyte. If I say fibrocyte, they are not in function, you need to understand. If we say fibroblast, they're actively working. So that's it. There's a story of fibroblasts. The cell fibroblasts are the most common cells which secrete fibers. The inactive cells which called fibrocyte, and active form we say fibroblast. This is the story of fibroblast cells. Okay. Next. Number 2. Mast cells. Number 3. Histiocytes. Number 4, wandering macrophages. Wandering macrophages. Okay, mast cells, histiocytes, wandering macrophages, plasma cells. Why I'm writing all these at one place before explanation? Here, all these 4 types of cells. Fibroblast is over. Fibroblast is going to form the 3 types of fiber. That's over. And now mast cell, histiocytes, wandering macrophages, plasma cells. All these cells are having a common feature, a common phenomena we have to talk about. To know about these cells, we need to know about a primary information of WBC. You may have learned over the blood composition in earlier classes, but my responsibility is to remember that white blood cells. Once here, we have to discuss that in the coming days. But in emergency, we brought them little earlier. We are saying just by names we need to learn at least at present. Thereafter, we'll go with the details of the cells in the coming classes. The WBC, white blood cells, are composed of 2 types of cells, granulocytes and agranulocytes. Granulocytes are of 3 types again. Acidophils or eosinophils, we use it to say. Basophils, neutrophils. The same way, agranulocytes are of 2 types. Lymphocytes and monocytes. Lymphocytes and monocytes. Okay, so a brief introduction of the white blood cells in our body. WBC, white blood cells, are classified into granulocytes, agranulocytes. The granulocytes are of 3 types again: acidophil, basophil, and neutrophils. Here I want these cells, basophils. Then after we'll go with the remaining. In the granulocytes, the basophils are present. In the same way, in areolar connective tissue, mast cells are present. The mast cells and basophils are having similar function. That's why we are talking about this. Basophils of granulocytes of the WBC, the mast cells of the areolar connective tissue, we say with same function, that is, they release inflammatory mediators. They release inflammatory mediators, and they are responsible for inflammation. They release inflammatory mediators, and they are responsible for inflammation. Inflammation. We need to know what is inflammation and what are the inflammatory mediators. So link up I am giving here the basophils of the granulocyte and mast cells of the areolar connective tissue. These 2, areolar connective tissue mast cells, basophils of the granulocytes, are doing a process called inflammation. That inflammation, due to the inflammatory mediators. Here, this is a very important word, inflammation. We use it to be in our household also so many times, and we already may faced over this situation earlier in our lifetime. Okay, that means that's a very common word actually, inflammation. So that's why let us learn in detail what is inflammation and what these basophils of the WBC and the mast cells are doing during inflammation, and how does it influences our body. That we need to know here. Interesting item, just watch here. Let us imagine. I'll go with a small story here to understand that much better. For that, I am drawing a part of the body. I think you identified this as a leg. Is it identified? Okay. Imagine there is a small damage here. That means anywhere in the body that I took the leg or hand, whatever, which part you have taken, no matter, a damage, a rupture occurs here. Then when a rupture occurs here, when the microbes, here you have to understand the surrounding atmosphere is going to be with full of microbes. So many microorganisms are present in the atmosphere. Some of them may be famous, like COVID virus. But so many bacteria, so many viruses are there in the surrounding environment. In that, a small rupture even can make the entry of so many microbes into the body. Okay, so when the microbes enters into the body due to the rupture in that area, what our mast cells will do, what our basophils do, they release some inflammatory mediators. Inflammatory mediators. What are the inflammatory mediators? Histamine, heparin, bradykinin, serotonin, prostaglandins, platelet activating factors. Various are there. In that, some among them I am going with. So, intermediate level, let us see about the histamine, bradykinin, and the serotonin. Histamine. Histamine attract histiocytes. Histamine attracts histiocytes. These are said to be a kind of phagocytic cells, macrophages we can say. Okay, till the time you remember that these are kind of cells of WBC, which we said about granulocytes are of two types, lymphocytes and monocytes, isn't it? In that, monocytes are nothing but macrophages. That macrophages, what it do? They engulf the microbial organism. They swallow the microbial organism. So that's why into the site of injury, that the mast cells are released a substance called histamine, and histamine attract the histiocytes into the site of injury. Bradykinin, what bradykinin do? Vasodilation. Bradykinin is doing vasodilation. Vasodilation means, vaso means blood vessel. Vaso means any vessel we call vaso, but in the case we need to say vasodilation. That means blood vessel. Vasoconstriction. Bradykinin for vasodilation, serotonin for vasoconstriction. Okay, so vasodilation and vasoconstriction. Let us see the total story in this particular area. I'm showing the leg in little detail. So now the microbes are coming. So many are coming. So here the blood vessels in this area where the microbes are coming in the site of injury, they need to dilate. That means become broader. What do you say it as? Vasodilation was done by whom? Bradykinin. Bradykinin release the vasodilation. That makes the vasodilation means that makes the widening of the blood vessels. Road widening. More blood cells can come here. More histiocytes can come here to stop the activity of this particular microbe, or to kill the microbes who are entering into the body from the rupture what has done there. Okay. Next, vasoconstriction. We have that so many meanings here. Let us see here. What is vasoconstriction? In surrounding blood vessels made narrow by the serotonin, that that brings over more blood will come here. That will be turned towards this tissue from the site to the site of injury. Let us learn like that. That means in coming classes in future time, when you go for the pathology or additional subjects, you're going to learn more. But simply, conclusion I'm giving here in case of serotonin, that do the vasoconstriction of surrounding blood vessel, which facilitate more blood supply to the site of injury. Okay. So what is exactly happening there? When a rupture occurs, immediately mast cells in the site of injury will respond. Okay. What they do? They release histamine, bradykinin, serotonin, so many other prostaglandin, platelet activating factors, heparin. So in that histamine, what histamine do? So here, what is the problem here? Microbes are coming. We want more histiocytes. So that attract the histiocytes or macrophages. They come and engulf the microbial organism. That is the one thing. The area, the blood vessels will widen up to supply more number of blood vessels. That we say vasodilation. Serotonin, that vasoconstriction occurs, that nearby blood vessels, which increase the blood flow to the site of injury. Okay, so that is a total story. Then this inflammation results The concepts will come here. Collar, dollar, ruber, tumor. Just do remember. It is for our life aspect here. So that's why remember the four. Maybe not present in the textbook here, but if you remember, that will be good for us. Collar. Collar means at the site of injury, heat is generated. We say collar. Dollar. At the site of injury,
So
pain
we
is.
can't see the board.
Amma?
Sir, the right side is not visible.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Can you see now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, right. I will try to focus the light also here. Okay, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, is it better now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So collar, heat, dollar, pain, rubor, reddening of the area, tumor, swelling of the area. Okay, so you may have faced over here. You just correlate with your the past things happened in an area. A swelling occurs that we call tumor. There, that area is reddened. That we say rubor. The paining in that area that we call dollar. Okay, heat will be generated in that area. We call collar. All these four concepts collectively called inflammation. All these four are collectively called inflammation. Four properties of inflammation. So wherever we use the word inflammation, you need to understand that four things may be happened over. At least four. Not four may happen, but 2, 3 at least will happen in them. The four properties of inflammation are collar, dollar, rubor, tumor. Collar means heat generated. Dollar, pain, rubor, reddening of the area, tumor, swelling of the area. Okay, so if any damage occurs to the head or leg, sometimes you may have feel over some sort of swelling. Okay, that swelling we can use the word called inflammation. For that we can use the word inflammation. Sometimes what happens, maybe rupture is very small. Maybe the microbial organisms are coming into the body are very little, but our mast cells are going to respond hyperactively, exaggerated response we use it to say. That means over response. So that response leads to more histamine will be released, more bradykinin, more serotonin will be released over. Microbes are coming less, but our soldiers like histiocytes are coming more there. They may do the damage of our own tissue. So that's what we can use in general terms as inflammation. That means damage little by outside, more by inside. That hyper or exaggerated release of the histamine. Now you can see here. In most cases, in allergic responses and medicines, you can see on the strip anti-inflammatory, or you can see antihistamine. That means it's just allergic response. In some cases, when wound is very small, but more that bigger swelling, bigger reddening, more pain, that all the features you can observe there at the time. What doctor will suggest here, anti-inflammatory medicine. Most of the times, antihistamine injection or antihistamine tablet. What histamine can do? Histamine is attracting more macrophages, more white blood cells into the site of injury to kill the more number of microbes, but microbes are less, they are coming. When microbes are less, what they do? They do our damage of our own cells. That's the nature of our fighters, our soldiers. What they do, if no microbes, they do the damage of our own cells. Exaggerated. More number of my white blood cells means they do the damage of our own tissue. That's the problem here. You may have heard over in case of corona also, cytokine storm. That is also a kind of issue that related to this inflammation. Okay. Okay, that we'll discuss when we discuss the immunology. We can discuss that also. But at present, what you need to know about from the total story, what you need to know. Let me write. I'm explaining inflammation for the first time. That's why I went through all details. Now let us learn based on the text concept. Mast cells, what are they? They secrete heparin. Heparin is an anticoagulant material which prevents the blood clotting. Mast cells secrete heparin, which is an anticoagulant material. Histamine. Histamine attract histiocytes. Histamine attract histiocytes. Okay. Next, bradykinin. Bradykinin. Vasodilator. Bradykinin means vasodilator. Serotonin. Serotonin is vasoconstrictor. Serotonin is the vasoconstrictor. And who cause the inflammation? We have seen that vasodilators. Vasodilators is going to cause the inflammation. Widening of the blood vessels results, more blood cells will come there. If microbes are less, they do the damage of our own tissue, which leads to inflammation. Inflammation, in general terms, people say that as swelling. Okay, but there are so many other issues are there. That's what I said over. Collar, dollar, rubor, tumor. Swelling is tumor. Dollar means pain. Rubor means reddening. Collar means heat generated in that area. So all the four concepts include inflammation. You remember it as inflammation, no matter. That during the response to injury or infection, inflammation occurs due to the mast cells. That you need to remember. Okay. So we are in the second type of cell in areolar connective tissue. We said about the fibroblast cells. Fibroblast cells are going to form all the three types of fibers. Now we went through the mast cells. Mast cells secrete heparin, who is an anticoagulant, and histamine, which attract the histiocytes. Bradykinin, who is a vasodilator, and serotonin, who is a vasoconstrictor, and we said vasodilators cause inflammation in response to injury and infection. So that's the story of mast cells. Okay, is it clear? Any doubt? You people start the worksheet today itself. That means for connective tissue worksheet already is available with you. Along with the epithelial tissue chart I sent to you. After the 24 examples of epithelial tissue, you'll find our connective tissue chart also. Nearly 64 words are there. There it will given like this. Vas that histamine, attract histiocytes. You need to answer there. Bradykinin, vasodilator. Serotonin, vasoconstrictor. You should answer like that. Okay. Fibroblast, active cells which can secrete fibers. Fibrocyte, inactive form of fibroblast. You should write like that. Okay. Then let's continue with the macrophages. Macrophages. For that, again, I'll go. As we said, in case of WBC, granulocytes, granulocytes are present. Granulocytes and agranulocytes. The agranulocytes are of two types, lymphocytes and monocytes. So these are monocytes are said to be inactive form of the cells. When the monocytes become active, we call them as macrophages. See carefully here, little confusion. You may find active form of the monocytes of the agranulocytes of the WBC are macrophages. Macrophages, that means active form. They're like amoeba-like cells. That means when any microbe enters in the body, just they're going to engulf. They take inside the cell and they do digestion of, they do destruction of that particular microbe. Okay, so that macrophages, phages, Phagocytosis means eating, cell eating. So our macrophages will eat the microbes, bacteria or virus, whatever, when it enters in the body, these macrophages are going to be eaten over. So who are macrophages? Active form of the monocyte. Who are monocyte? That's what I am saying here. Actually, we are going to learn blood in coming days. But before that, we brought this to understand about the macrophages. Okay, so monocytes are the granulocytes of the WBC. When they become active, we call macrophages. Okay, how it related here? That we have a word here, macrophages. Okay, so these macrophages, if they come and settle in the areolar connective tissue, if they come and settle in the areolar connective tissue, we call them as histiocytes. Okay, that means migrated from the blood, reach to the areolar connective tissue, and they're doing the same function. Wherever they go for the same function. Like amoeboid-like cells here, phagocytic in function. Phagocytic means that eating the microbial organism. Act as a internal scavenger. These cells act as a internal scavengers. Okay, histiocytes. The story of histiocytes are the tissue fixed macrophages. That means why we call tissue fixed macrophages? They came from the blood and they settled in the areolar connective tissue and doing the function as phagocytosis. Okay. So in case more microbes are coming, more microbes are entering into the body. That means into the site of injury. If histiocytes are not sufficient, some more macrophages from the blood, they migrate into the site of injury. Such cells are called as wandering macrophages. Such cells are said to be wandering macrophages. Okay, so little mess we have. So let me say. So let me start the story from monocyte. Monocyte. Who is monocyte? That's what I shown to you. Who is monocyte? A type of WBC. At least you remember till the time. When they become active, what do you call them as? Macrophages. Okay, very good. And they go in the areolar connective tissue, they settled there. Areolar connective tissue lo settle aithe emantarandi. When they settle there, we have a word for them. Tissue fixed macrophages. Settled in the that areolar connective tissue. Tissue fixed macrophages. We call them as histiocytes. The tissue fixed macrophages are considered as histiocytes. Okay, so tissue fixed macrophages are histiocytes. Okay, then next, after that, we need to go with wandering macrophages. That means at the time of requirement, some of the macrophages will migrate from the blood and come here. We call them as migrating macrophages, can be called as wandering macrophages. Migrating macrophages is said to be as wandering macrophages. Okay, so this is the story of cells here, monocytes. When they become active, we call them as macrophages. These macrophages, if they settle in the areolar connective tissue, we say that as the histiocytes are tissue fixed macrophages. Migrating macrophages are called as wandering macrophages. Just you need to understand like that areolar connective tissue is an area, that LB Nagar or Dilsig Nagar, whatever. So they are the settled police we call histiocyte. There is a police station, the police are settled here. If these police are not sufficient, we want more police. That means some CRPF or some other people will come here. We call them as migrating police or wandering macrophages. The same police, same function, but here we brought from some other place. That means from the blood at the time of requirement. We call them as wandering macrophages. So two cells will end at present. Histiocytes and wandering macrophages. Let me ask the question from here whether it is clear to you or not. Who is called tissue fixed macrophages?
Histiocyte.
Are connective tissue.
Histocytes.
Who is called tissue fixed macrophages? Histiocytes. Very good. Who is called migrating macrophages?
Wandering macrophages.
Wandering.
What are the inactive WBC agranulocytes which were activated in the form of macrophages?
Monocytes.
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 Very good. When monocytes become active, what do you call them as?
Macrophages.
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 When macrophages will come and settle down in the areolar connective tissue, they are called as
Histocytes.
Histiocytes.
histiocytes, also called tissue fixed macrophages. At the time of requirement, those macrophages who come into the site of injury, they are called as
Wandering macrophages.
wandering macrophages.
Wandering.
That's it. That's it. It is very clear to you. I came to understand. It's very clear to you. Then we do practice in the worksheet also these things. Next, cell plasma cells. Next, we need to go with plasma cells. For that, again, we have to go for WBC. We said WBC is composed of two types of cells, granulocytes and agranulocytes. In agranulocytes, there are two types of cells. What are they? Lymphocytes and monocytes. Lymphocytes and monocytes. Okay, so monocyte story we are seeing now. Lymphocytes are of two types, T lymphocytes and B lymphocyte. Details of the T lymphocyte and B lymphocyte will get in immunology, but at least at present you need to understand about these B lymphocyte. When any microbe enters in the body, the B lymphocyte respond against the microbe and they release plasma cells. And these plasma cells are going to be produce antibodies. Okay. Along with that, B lymphocytes also produce memory cells. For these memory cells only, the whole world is fighting now to create the vaccination. Creating memory cells is very important concept here. At least we can't run through that particular topic at present, that we have to go for immunology chapter. That there we'll discuss in detail. But at present, what we need to remember here, we centered the plasma cell. Plasma cells are derived from. Yes, plasma cells are produced from
B lymphocytes.
B lymphocyte. Plasma cells produce.
Antibiotics.
Antibodies.
That's it. At least that is enough for us today. That means today means in first year, that's enough. That plasma cells are derived from B lymphocyte and plasma cell produce antibodies. So what are the other things that all we'll discuss in immunology here? How does the B lymphocyte will differentiate into plasma cells by the entry of microbe, and how do they produce antibodies? What are the nature of the antibodies? That all we'll discuss in the chapter immunology in second year. But till the time, let me say once again, plasma cell descendants of, derived from
B lymphocytes.
B lymphocyte, and plasma cell produce.
Antibodies.
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 Plasma cells produce antibodies. That's it. That is the story of these particular plasma cells. And next, the last cell in the series, that is adipocyte. The cells of areolar connective tissue in the series, the last cell is adipocyte. Okay. So adipocytes are the specialized cells for the storage of fat. I'll go the details in the adipose tissue, but you just remember till the time, specialized cells for the storage of fat. The specialized cells for the storage of fat, we can say. So that that's enough till that time. That's enough here. Specialized cells for the storage of fat. Okay. Then let me write all the cells in one place to revise them back again. Cells of areolar connective tissue. Okay. Cells of areolar connective tissue. Number 1, fibroblast cells. Fibroblast cells. Number 2, mast cells. Fibroblast cells, mast cells. Number 3, macrophages. Okay. Number 4, plasma cells. Number 5, adipocytes. About these particular cells we discussed till the time. Fibroblast cells, mast cells, macrophages, plasma cells, and adipocytes. Okay. So now you make it as a 5 options at present. There are 5 options with you. So I'll go with the questions. You just choose one of the answer from there. Okay. Then let's start. The most common cells which secrete fibers.
Fibroblast.
Fibroblast.
Right,
Fibroblast.
The cells which secrete heparin, histamine, bradykinin. Serotonin.
Mast cells.
Mast cells.
Mast cells.
Phagocytic cells. Phagocytic cells.
Macrophages.
Macrophages. Macro. There is a small difference there for micro and macro. Macro means larger cells. So these are phagocytes. Simply we call phagocytes. There are 2 types of phagocytes. That's we just talked about. Histiocytes and wandering macrophages. Okay, so I am asking straight questions from here. NCERT based questions I am asking. The cells which secrete all the 3 types of fibers.
Fibroblast.
Fibroblast.
Fibroblast cells. Very good. Cells which release inflammatory mediators.
Mast cells.
Mast cells. Cells for the storage of fat.
Adipocytes.
Adipocytes.
Cells for the storage of fat. Adipocytes. Cells which produce antibodies.
Plasma cells.
Plasma cells.
Okay. Cells which are produced from B lymphocytes.
Plasma cells.
Plasma cells.
Plasma cells. Cells which are phagocytic in function.
Macrophages.
Macrophages. Cells which are phagocytic in function. Macrophages. Let us see one after another. That very good. That means you are following. Number 1, fibroblast cells are the most common cells which secrete fibers. Inactive form of the fibroblast cells is called fibrocyte. Okay, next, the second one, mast cells. The mast cells are said to be the secrete heparin, who is an anticoagulant, histamine, bradykinin. That histamine which attract the histiocytes and bradykinin is a vasodilator. Serotonin is a vasoconstrictor. As we know, the vasodilators cause inflammation in response to injury and infection. Next, macrophages. The macrophages are amoeboid cells. The macrophages are amoeboid cells which are phagocytic in function. Amoeboid cells which are phagocytic in function and act as a internal scavengers. These cells act as internal scavengers. Who is scavenger? Who removes the waste from the road, isn't it? So these are internal scavengers. These are removing the waste that microbes or anything waste, whatever in the body will be removed by the macrophages. So they are derived from the monocytes. Macrophages are derived from the monocytes of the blood. Tissue fixed macrophages are called histiocytes and migrating macrophages are called wandering macrophages. Next. About the plasma cells. Plasma cells are derived from the B lymphocyte and produce antibodies. Then adipocytes. Adipocytes are said to be the cells which are specialized for the storage of fat. Okay. So this is the story of the cells of areolar connective tissue. And along with that, I'll show you the fibers also. We said about there are 3 types of fibers: collagen fiber, elastin fiber, and reticular fibers. There are 3 types of fibers: collagen, elastin, and reticular fibers. So this is the story of areolar connective tissue. Then next, in the connective tissue proper, in the loose connective tissue, we have seen about the areolar connective tissue. Now we are going with the second type of loose connective tissue, that is adipose tissue. We learn now adipocytes, which are said to be cells for the storage of the fat. So after storing fat, they join with a special kind of tissue we call adipose tissue. So what is adipose tissue? Specialized for the fat storage. These are the tissue specialized for the fat storage. Then it consists of large number of adipocytes. That adipocytes are present. The large number of adipocytes are present here. Fat storing cells, which we can say adipocyte. The adipose tissue, which is found beneath the skin, location of the adipose tissue is present beneath the skin. So, okay, we'll go with the location, all the things later, or let us write here beneath the skin. In case of human being, mostly beneath the skin, we'll find the fat tissue. Some other places also, but major place we say. Okay, so we learned in areolar connective tissue, adipocytes. We are now talking about adipose tissue. What is the relation? That we need to understand. For that, we need to learn the story from the beginning. Difference between the immature adipocyte and mature adipocyte. Immature adipocyte, mature adipocyte. Immature adipocyte, that means adipocyte which is smaller in size, which is not mentioned in the text actually. For your better understanding, I am moving here. These immature adipocyte, whatever the fat we accumulated through the diet, is collected by these immature adipocytes slowly. That means these are the cells meant for the storage, store the fat itself, isn't it? So by taking that particular cells, that by taking the fat, the cell will be elaborated, enlarged, which is converted the total fat into a single oil droplet. We say monomolecular lipid droplet. Monomolecular lipid droplet, and even they pushes the nucleus on one side. We call this as a mature adipocyte. That means fully filled. Okay, that you just understand in areolar connective tissue, empty bags are there. That we say immature adipocyte. Empty bags are there. They are waiting for fat. That means whatever taken the diet, whatever formed in the food, that all that particular fat is going to be accumulated in the immature adipocyte, and they become mature adipocyte. How do we recognize the cell is adipocyte is mature? A single large oil droplet. We call it as monomolecular lipid droplet. Single large oil droplet. A single large oil droplet, which can be termed as monomolecular lipid droplet. Okay, so this is now packed by reticular fibers, the net-like fibers. Okay, so the story is over. I'm erasing this. So these kind of mature adipocytes, which are packed with the reticular fibers individually, so many I have to draw. Okay, individually are now packed with, great packing, isn't it? Now packed with the thick collagen fibers, then goes to the adipose tissue. Okay, so just talking about immature adipocyte, which contain the nucleus in the center and slowly accumulate the fat, become a large adipocyte, which we call mature adipocyte, with single large oil droplet, which pushes the nucleus on one side, and that particular is packed with reticular fiber, and all the cells, all the mature adipocytes are packed with the collagen fiber, and now it turns into adipose tissue. Okay, so that is white in color. That's why we say it as white adipose tissue. Color of this is white. That's why we call it as white adipose tissue. How much is formed? How much is formed? That depends on the individual here. How much effort you are paying. That means how many times you are eating, how much you are eating, and what you are eating. That the Domino's and pizza, burger, all the things make more number of oil cells to form. That makes the horizontal growth of the body. That below the skin, the fat is going to be accumulated over. That means here immature adipocyte is common for all. But how longer and how faster you are going to develop them into the mature adipocyte and you are packing them, you are sending below the skin is dependent on your diet. Okay. So, but once you see here, once the fat is accumulated, it is very difficult to get back even, isn't it? You see how I'm packing. Individual mature adipocyte packed with reticular fiber, and all the adipocytes who are matured are packed with collagen fiber and sending below the skin. That is a specialty. Fully packed. It's like deposit. You can't withdraw from the bank in emergency conditions. So that's the story of white adipose tissue. Okay. But here, these white adipose tissue in some animals, it will be much helpful. Okay, even for us also a little bit helpful here. But talking about whale, if we just talk about the whale, you may have seen our whale is in marine water, in oceans, excuse me. Blubber. We use it to say it as blubber. You may have heard over this. Blubber of aquatic mammals such as whales, and in case of sea cows also, you can see this blubber. Below the skin, a large amount of fatty insulating layer, which doesn't allow the inner temperature out and outer temperature in. That fatty blubber of aquatic mammals such as whale and sea cows, this adipose tissue which is found beneath the skin provides thermal insulation. It provides thermal insulation. That much fatty layer is not required for us because we are not living in the cold temperatures like sea cows and whales are living. Okay, so then in case of camel, if you see, camel, actually that in all the mammals beneath the skin, thick or thin, some fatty layer present. But in case of camel, we can see a hump. The hump region only, you may have seen over at the dorsal surface, a bulge. Okay, so fat is completely accumulated in the hump region only. You remember this, that we discussed more back in ecology. How does it helpful for the camel? So it acts as a storage tissue in the hump of camel. Next, in case of human, so how will it will be helpful? Fat is helpful for what? In case of human, it acts as a shock absorber. Presence of fat in some places, not all the places, shock absorber in palms and soles. In palms and soles, that adipose tissue acting as a shock absorber. Okay, so that's it in case of them. Adipose tissue is of two types, which we discussed about the white adipose tissue now. Then another adipose tissue is there. With that, we'll close the today's session. Brown adipose tissue, which is a very special adipose tissue. I just talked about white adipose tissue. In case of human beings or any other whale or cow, that camel or any mammal, you can say here. But we have to talk about the brown adipose tissue, which is present only in the case of fetuses and infants. In case of fetus and infant. Fetus means growing embryo in the mother. Infant, that almost came out after 9 months of period of time. When the baby comes out, we say that as infant. The adipose site of these particular infant, the BAT, we say, brown adipose tissue, that how do we recognize their adipose tissue? They don't have single oil droplet. They have several oil droplets. Many oil droplets are present here, not like the earlier storage fat of white adipose tissue. Here we term it as multilocular lipid droplet. Multilocular lipid droplet. Okay, multilocular lipid droplet with large number of mitochondria. Numerous mitochondria are present here. That is to provide the energy. Active cells these are. Large number of mitochondria. How do they helpful for the newborn baby? That we'll discuss, but you see the nature first. Okay, so these brown fat is metabolically active and it is going to generate the heat. Okay, we know that we are homeothermic animals. That means our body temperature is constant, 37 degrees. Outside, whatever the temperature, nowadays you can see surrounding temperature is very less due to the rains, 20 degrees centigrade it may be, but our body temperature is 37 degrees. How is it possible? How is it possible? We have our own mechanism in the body. But what about the newborn baby? Newborn baby, after coming out from the mother, after the parturition, that means after the 9 months when the baby comes out, the process we call parturition. When the baby comes out, the first problem to the baby is maintaining constant temperature. That's why the mother, just before the birth itself, they supply this fat to the baby. That newborn baby come along with this infant fat obtained from the mother. Okay, that will be provided by the mother. So what is the advantage of this? This will burn out and provide the heat, required heat to the baby. Mean period of time, the baby will adjust to the surrounding environment. But initial adjustment, mother is helping by providing the brown fat. Okay. After all that, baby grows, and when they are growing by their diet pattern, they are also going to develop the white adipose tissue we just talked about. But by newborn baby, whatever the tissue it is present in the newborn baby is brown adipose tissue. Okay, it is comparatively more vascular. That means color of this also white actually. Fat is white, but due to the large number of blood capillaries is surround here, vascular. I asked you to remember vascular means more blood capillaries. So due to the large number of blood capillaries surround this, it appears like brown color, brown adipose tissue. Okay, so let me close by giving comparison with these. Now I'm not comparing, you people need to compare here. So we have two tissues, white adipose tissue, brown adipose tissue. With the statements I am passing here, with that statements, you need to recognize who is white adipose, who is brown adipose. Okay. Multilocular lipid droplet.
Brown adipose.
Brown
Brown
adipose.
adipose.
Very good. Brown adipose tissue. Multilocular lipid droplet. Okay. That monolocular lipid droplet.
White
White
adipose.
adipose.
White adipose tissue. Monolocular lipid droplet. Obtained by self, by eating large amount of fat materials.
White adipose.
White
White
adipose.
Adipose tissue obtained from the mother.
Brown adipose.
Brown adipose.
Vascularized.
White adipose.
Brown adipose.
Richly vascularized. More vascular means more usage. You are using this actually. That's why less vascularized. White adipose tissue is less vascularized. Then adult fat.
Brown adipose tissue.
Brown adipose.
Adult fat.
White adipose.
White adipose.
Fat. When you up, that means when you grow up, you obtain which type of fat you are going to obtain when you grow up?
White
White
adipose.
adipose.
Right. Infant fat.
Brown adipose.
Brown
Brown.
adipose.
Adipose tissue. Okay, let me once again. Multilocular lipid droplet.
Brown adipose tissue.
Monolocular lipid droplet.
White adipose.
White adipose tissue.
Adult fat.
White
White
adipose.
adipose tissue.
Then infant fat.
Brown
Brown
adipose.
adipose
Adipose
tissue.
tissue.
The fat of the newborn baby which provides temperature after the birth.
Brown adipose.
Brown
tissue.
adipose.
Brown
Tissue.
adipose tissue. Highly vascularized fat.
White adipose tissue.
White.
White adipose
Brown
tissue.
brown adipose tissue.
Brown adipose.
Here,
Brown adipose tissue.
highly is going same. Okay, you remember technically. This white adipose tissue we are not using. I said over, this is a deposit in the bank, storage fat. No vascularization required to them. If you use more, you need vascularization. You need blood capillaries. You are not using. That's why. What is the use of blood capillaries? So you are using this. That's why we say more mitochondria.
Brown adipose.
Brown adipose
Brown
tissue.
adipose tissue. Very good. Very good. Within a short period of time, you just answering everything. That shock absorber.
Brown adipose.
Brown
White
ad-
adipose tissue.
Absorber. That means they are talking in the adult, isn't it?
White adipose tissue.
Yeah, white adipose tissue. That is the shock absorber. Here, in palms and soles, we say. The blubber of aquatic mammals, whales and sea cow.
Brown adipose tissue.
White adipose tissue. White adipose
Adipose tissue. Still confusion is going on. To read once, I'll ask you tomorrow even. Okay, let me conclude this. That white adipose tissue is called adult fat. It is white in color because less vascularized. And it can be recognized by monolocular lipid droplet which nucleus is pushed on one side. Okay, less vascularized is a storage fat that for normal activities we are not using this particular fat. Next, brown adipose tissue which is richly vascularized, due to that it appears white brown in color. And multilocular lipid droplet, we use it to say it as, because many lipid droplets are present with numerous mitochondria, and it is richly vascularized, and this is called infant baby, infant fat, newborn baby, required heat provided by this particular fat. Brown fat, you just remember it as infant fat, fat of newborn baby, which was supplied by mother to provide the required temperature. By burning this, the baby is going to provide a temperature to maintain the homeostasis. That means body temperature, to maintain the body temperature constant. Okay, so that's it about adipose tissue. We'll continue with this that tomorrow in the class. Areolar connective tissue will be continued over, and thank you.